Welcome back to our journey through literature. Last time, we saw Othello and Desdemona elope, right? And then they had to face Brabantio's, well, furious accusations before the Venetian Senate. But despite all that drama, they did get the Duke's okay for Desdemona to go with Othello to Cyprus.
But all the while, you had Iago just simmering, full of resentment.
Exactly. Already cooking up his plan to abuse Othello's ear, whispering that Cassio was too familiar with Desdemona.
And today we're really digging into Othello Act 2. This is where the story truly ramps up. We move from setup into the rising action.
The complication phase.
Precisely, where the main conflict really catches fire. It's masterfully constructed,
Yeah.
carefully laying the groundwork for Iago's really intricate web of villainy to start trapping everyone.
So our mission then is to unpack how this specific act pushes the plot forward, but also like deepens the characters and develops those core themes.
Exactly, how it all works together.
Okay, let's start with Act 2, Scene 1. Some people call this one the arrival in Cyprus and the calm before the storm of deception.
A fitting title.
So it opens in Cyprus, right? Strategic island for Venice. Montano and some other gentlemen are watching this really violent storm out at sea.
And what's fascinating right off the bat is how Shakespeare just, well, ruthlessly gets rid of the big external threat.
The Turkish fleet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
News comes and the storm completely wiped them out. So that whole military angle, gone.
It's quite a move.
It's brilliant, narratively speaking. It literally clears the stage, doesn't it? So the real battle, the personal drama, Iago's plotting, that moves right to the forefront.
It does feel almost, I don't know, a bit too neat. Like Shakespeare's saying, forget the big war, the real danger is inside.
And then you have Cassio, Desdemona, Emilia. They all arrive safely.
There's that little bit of tension, though, when Othello's ship is delayed.
Right, a moment of anxiety. But then he arrives too. Big fanfare. And that reunion with Desdemona,
Yeah.
it's just pure, profound joy.
Yeah. So thinking about the structure of the play, what's the main function of this shift? From Venice to Cyprus, storm wiping out the fleet.
Well, Venice in Act 1, that represented, law, order, the public space. Cyprus is different.
A frontier, almost.
Sort of, yeah. Historically war-torn. And Shakespeare uses it as this crucible for personal conflict. With the Turks gone, all that dramatic energy now focuses entirely on the character relationships and, well, specifically on Iago's sinister plot.
So this is definitely the start of the rising action.
Absolutely. It's the moment the conflict shifts from just being introduced, the exposition, to actively developing on a personal level.
And the characters, we
Yeah.
see them differently here, too. Cassio, for example. He seems so genuinely chivalrous, worried about Othello.
Very much so. And his greeting to Desdemona is polite, maybe a little diffusive.
Taking her hand.
Exactly. Which seems totally innocent, but
Yeah,
that's the
that's
event.
everything.
And Desdemona, she's still poised, gracious, even with the storm anxiety. It really shows her, inherent goodness.
But Iago, his character takes a really chilling turn here, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. He immediately targets Cassio's courtesy, sees it as a weakness, a thread he can pull.
And then we get that first soliloquy at the end of the scene. This is where it gets really intense.
Crucial moment.
He reveals this deeper, darker layer to his motives. He actually says he suspects Othello hath leaped into my seat.
Meaning slept with Emilia, Iago's wife.
Right, and then declares this just terrifying goal. Nothing can or shall content my soul till I am even with him, wife for wife.
It's pure vengeance. And he also notes Desdemona's nature.
Her free and open nature, yeah. Which he explicitly says he plans to exploit.
And this whole passage, it just reveals his incredibly cynical view of love. It's not love, it's...
Merely a lust of the blood and a permission of the will. That line is brutal.
It is. And he's basically laying out his whole plan right there, how he's going to make Othello egregiously an ass. It sends a shiver down your spine, really.
It really does. And you see his mind working earlier, too. In that aside, watching Cassio and Desdemona.
He takes her by the palm. Aye, well said. Whisper.
With as little a web as this, will I ensnare as great a fly as Cassio. He sees a simple handshake, a whisper, and immediately thinks, weapon.
A calculating machine. And the dramatic irony here is just, it's immense. We, the audience, we know everything. We hear his plans, his twisted thoughts.
While everyone else on stage keeps calling him Honest Iago.
Completely oblivious. It's almost painful to watch them walking right into his trap.
So, thematically, what's really jumping out in the scene as Iago starts spinning this web?
Well, appearance versus reality is huge, obviously. Iago's outward show versus his inner plotting.
Stark contrast.
Definitely. Then deception and manipulation are laid bare.
Yeah.
We see his strategy forming.
And jealousy makes its entrance as a motive for Iago himself.
Exactly. His suspicion about Othello and Emilia, it introduces jealousy as this destructive force even before Othello catches it.
Interesting. And order versus chaos, too.
Yeah, the external chaos of the storm kind of settles into this false calm, which just paves the way for Iago to stir up all this internal personal chaos.
Okay, so we've seen Iago lay out these chilling plans in scene 1. But it's Act 2, scene 3, where his scheme really, well, explodes into action.
This is where he traps Cassio.
And sets the stage to use Desdemona's own goodness against her. So, what unfolds here?
Well, first, Iago pushes Cassio to drink. He knows Cassio can't handle it, even though Cassio himself admits it's a weakness.
She's reluctant at first.
Very, yes. But Iago works on him. Then, he subtly engineers this quarrel between Cassio and Rodrigo.
Which blows up.
Right into a drunken brawl. Montano tries to intervene, and Cassio wounds him. Big mess.
And then Othello arrives. He must be furious.
Absolutely livid. The disorder is unacceptable. He demands to know who started it, and Iago steps up.
Playing the reluctant witness.
Perfectly. Feigning sympathy for Cassio, but giving this carefully biased account that points the finger squarely at him while keeping his own honest reputation intact.
Master manipulator. Yeah. And the result for Cassio is just devastating.
Instant dismissal. Othello, prioritizing military order above everything, says, "Nevermore be officer of mine."
Wow. That's a huge blow. It feels like Iago's achieved a major part of his plan already.
It's more than just a setback for Cassio, though. It's the critical turning point for the whole tragedy.
How so?
Because with Cassio disgraced and desperate, Iago can then give him that fateful advice.
Yeah.
Go ask Desdemona to plead your case with Othello.
Knowing she'll do it out of kindness.
Exactly. And that pleading, that advocacy, becomes the very proof Iago needs to poison Othello's mind with jealousy. So this scene massively escalates the rising action.
It really showcases Iago's, well, genius for manipulation, doesn't it? Orchestrating the fight, the honest report, this seemingly helpful advice.
He's pulling all the strings, and he seems to almost, enjoy it, reveling in the deception.
Yeah, you get that sense. And poor Cassio, his weakness is exposed, his reaction is rash.
And his despair over losing his reputation, it's profound. It shows his deep sense of honor, but also how vulnerable he is now.
He's just a pawn.
Completely. Easily manipulated by Iago's fake friendship. And Othello? Well, he comes across as a stern, maybe fair commander. Order above all else.
But crucially, his trust in Iago's honesty is absolute.
Tragically so. That's the flaw Iago just keeps digging into.
There's some really powerful lines in this scene, too. Iago's internal thought, if consequence do but approve my dream.
My boat sails freely, both with wind and stream. Yeah, sheer confidence in his evil plan.
But it's Cassio's lament that just hits you. Reputation, reputation, reputation. Oh, I have lost my reputation. I have lost the immortal part of myself. And what remains is bestial.
It's heart-wrenching. It perfectly captures his devastation, this idea that reputation is the soul.
And then Iago's response is just so cynical.
Completely dismissive. Reputation is most false imposition, oft got without merit and lost without deserving. For Iago, it's meaningless, just another lever to pull. Shows the total contrast between them.
And then we get another soliloquy from Iago. Even more chilling, maybe.
Definitely up there.
Yeah.
Divinity of hell. When devils with the blackest sins put on, they do suggest at first with heavenly shows, as I do now.
He's literally comparing himself to the devil, cloaking evil and seeming goodness.
Explicitly.
Yeah.
And he outlines exactly how he's going to corrupt Desdemona's goodness. Turn her virtue into pitch, and out of her own goodness make the net that shall enmesh them all.
Using her kindness as the weapon to destroy everyone, it's deeply disturbing.
It's a profound statement of intent. And again, the dramatic irony is just crushing. We see it all. We know how evil he is.
While Othello and Cassio are thanking honest Iago for his help.
It's masterful psychological manipulation on Shakespeare's part, letting us see the puppet master at work.
So wrapping up scene 3, what are the key themes really hammered home here?
Well, appearance versus reality is basically cemented now. Iago's facade is rock solid to the other characters.
While we see the monstrous reality.
Exactly. Manipulation and deception are demonstrated in vivid detail. It's like a masterclass in villainy.
Reputation, its value, its fragility is absolutely central.
Through Cassio's pain and Iago's cynicism. Order and disorder is clear, too. The brawl disrupts military order, which directly feeds Iago's plan for personal chaos.
And that horrifying idea of virtue corrupted.
Yeah, Iago's plan to turn her virtue into pitch. It foreshadows the terrible corruption of innocence that's coming.
Okay, so Act Two really does meticulously set the stage for the tragedy, doesn't it? That external threat, the Turks, just vanishes,
Oof. Gone.
only to be replaced by this insidious internal threat, Iago, much more dangerous.
Far more.
Cassio's public disgrace, his dismissal, he gives Iago the perfect leverage to bring Desdemona into it. So by the end of this act, the main conflict is well underway. That rising action is climbing steeply.
No turning back now.
Iago successfully laid the groundwork for his, quote, monstrous plot. Cassio's desperate. Desdemona's about to become this unwitting pawn.
Yeah, this act is just a masterclass in dramatic irony and building tension. Removing the external conflict in Cyprus creates this intense, almost claustrophobic space for Iago's psychological warfare.
And we've seen how characters' core traits, Cassio's honor, Othello's stability, Desdemona's goodness, are all being twisted and weaponized by Iago.
It's a fundamental shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
From a public military threat to something deeply private, domestic, and all orchestrated by the guy everyone thinks is the honest one. It's genuinely chilling.
So now that Iago has set his net, as he calls it, and he's tangled up Cassio and Desdemona, how is Othello's trust going to start fraying, and what kind of monstrous transformation is waiting for him in Act 3? Thank you for joining us on this literary journey. If you're nodding along, help other curious minds discover these conversations too. Press like and subscribe.